How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This is your host, Rising Oblivion. Today, guys, I have some interesting news coming at you. That is, the ATLUS Consumer Survey of 2022 will have its results broadcasted live on air July 26, 2022. It's actually 2 days before my birthday, surprisingly enough, but I digress, it doesn't mean anything. But we are going to be getting a special broadcast for the actual results of the survey, which is pretty interesting. So that was announced that they're going to be having this broadcast to reveal several results of this basically annual consumer survey. They do this every year just to sort of get a bit of a, I guess, just grounds on where people are in terms of ATLUS content, what games they want to see, what kind of stuff would they like to do. This was a survey that was ran from May 13th to May 16th, so this is something that we've had for a good little while here. But this survey is actually a little bit more special, not only because it's the first time they're doing a full broadcast of this, but they did want to emphasize also there's no new titles during this live stream, so I just want to say that. But this is the first time they're going to be doing a broadcast for this, but not also that. This survey was special in general because it had a more bigger emphasis on the English side of, you know, the ATLUS community, because they actually did it in English as well. This went directly to, you know, ATLUS Japan. This wasn't the ATLUS West thing that got our survey. It went directly to ATLUS. So it seems like these surveys are something that they are taking way into more consideration now, and also the fact that they're doing this live broadcast, they're including the English audience. This makes this thing have so much more validity when it comes to possibly changing the minds of ATLUS or getting them to think differently about this. The fact that they're doing a whole broadcast for this thing must mean that they have something to say, and they have heard our, you know, I guess, pleads on what we want and things like that. But let's go over a little bit more about what that survey was about, and like talk a little bit about what possibly could they be discussing when it comes to this special broadcast, right? Because there were so many questions, but there was a specific focus when it came to, at least what we saw for the English survey, a specific focus that we had seen for some of the stuff. So the survey was like 45 to 50 minutes, so a pretty hefty survey, I guess you could say. So they got a lot of information from us, and like I said, this is the first time the English ones also got basically tied in. United States and of America, for the most part, North America is kind of what this more focused on, but that also got, you know, brought in with the stuff from, you know, the East. So not only just, you know, English, but Japan and everything else, we got all that put together and brought directly to ATLUS. So like I said, every year they do this, but this one had a big focus on remasters, remakes, re-releases, and stuff like that. There were specific questions 24, 25, and then questions 46 through 52, more or less focused on remakes, remasters, and ports. So there is a good chance, if depending on what we all voted on and what we all thought about this survey, there is a good chance that when they get around to talking to about this July 26th during this special broadcast, there is a good chance that they will discuss the, you know, likelihood of more remasters, ports, and remakes. So they did not say that they're going to be saying anything about new titles. We do know that for sure. But we don't know if they're going to be saying we are working on other ports, we're keeping ports into consideration. So this is basically just for us to know essentially what they're thinking of, whether or not they would even try and think of these types of things, right? Would they even do more ports? Would they even do more remasters? That's kind of what we're getting here. We're not getting specifically which games are getting remastered or ported. We're essentially just getting a, you know, a light answer of, yeah, we'll potentially do more. That's basically kind of where we are here. And also, we had stuff for like smtv in there. We had stuff about older series just coming back in general. Something similar to Soul Hackers 2, right? Soul Hackers 2 got completely brought back, or I guess the Soul Hackers franchise got completely brought back. The survey had some questions about that. Would you love to see much older franchises be brought back and sort of revived into a new way, right? So they might discuss potentially not only remasters, ports, and remakes of old games, but also fully revamping them and fully, you know, recreating them, right? We haven't had a full-on remake. You could say that we've had remasters, right? The line between remaster, remake, port it all kind of seems to be fuzzy right now when it comes to video games, right? When I think remake, I think of something like Final Fantasy VII, you know, remake, right? They completely built the game all over again from the ground up, but tried to keep most of the same story elements and stuff like that. Although the remake it's kind of its own beast, it completely changes the story in certain aspects, but you get what I'm saying. It fully reimagines the game with modern hardware, right? While an HD remaster or remake is just sort of upscaling the game, maybe fixing a couple textures here or there, right? Something similar to more like SMT3, right? They touched on a couple of textures, but nothing much really. More or less, it's just the game's upscaled, and that's kind of where you're at, right? But we've never seen a full-on, full-blown remake. Now, this is something that I'm curious to see if they're going to do. Will they take an older game, a part of their franchises, and completely remake it? That's something I want to see. We know they're doing ports. We've seen that. We've done remasters, you know, SMT3 HD remaster. We've seen that kind of stuff. We've seen ports with P4, and now P3 and P5 brought over to everywhere else. And I guess P5 is kind of getting a remaster as well. We have not seen anything when it comes to full-on remakes. So that is something that I would like to see, and I want to know if they're willing to do something like that, because those were questions within the survey. We'll see if enough people voted on it for them to even take that question into consideration for something that they're going to talk about during the broadcast July 26th. So we will see on that, and I'll be sure to keep you updated if they do say anything then. But that's the interesting thing, right? Are they going to be dealing with these new things that were in the survey when it comes to remakes and rebooting older franchises? You know, I'm curious to see what they might do. They could do some more you know, other franchises within that haven't had a game in like a decade or two, right? That haven't had a game in quite a long time, right? We're getting some Devil Summoner stuff, kind of Soul Hackers, but we could see a full-blown, like, you know, Devil Summoner or something, this, that. Jack Bros, potentially, right? A lot of people have wanted different types of franchises within the, you know, Atlus verse, you know, the Atlus universe of all their games and stuff like that. There's been a lot of things that people have wanted to see, and potentially seeing remasters of these older games as well. That's also nice, of course. I know a lot of people want like a remaster of P1 or P2. I personally think a remake of P1 would be great because it's a game that I feel like kind of needs it. P3, P4, and P5, they kind of stand on their own with it just like an HD remaster. I know a lot of people think P3 kind of would need some tweaking, which I kind of agree, but I think for the most part, it's still playable though. P1 and P2, I would love to see potentially more than a port. However, I'd still play a port. I mean, it's whatever. I'm not going to sit here and beg and beg and beg for things, but it's interesting to think about. What exactly are they going to be talking about here? Because we know that this survey did have a big focus on ports, remakes, and remasters, because I think that is a spot where Atlus is sort of trying to judge and sort of cater to how much time do they actually want to spend pushing this type of stuff. You know, how much is too much here, right? Do they want to remake or remaster every single game, or just do a few of them, or just the select franchises, or could they potentially slow down on how many of them they're doing? And I think that's kind of what they're trying to do here. And during this broadcast, we're going to be getting more details as to what they're going to do. Potential DLC for games, ports, remakes, and remasters, what's going to be like pushing forward with that. Are they going to be doing them? How long we should be expecting them? Are they going to be here in a year, a couple years, or more? Are they even going to be doing them? What franchises might they be doing them for and not for? Who knows? Basically, that's what we're going to be getting here, and I know I had a strong focus on that. So I think for the West, during this broadcast, guys, I think it does make sense for us to watch this and understand this, because we had a bit of more significance when it came to this survey. So I think that's going to be it, guys. For now, let me know down in the comment section below, what are you looking forward to from hearing from this survey in this broadcast? Were there any questions that you had during the survey that you would love to have answered, or at least have some insight of some sort from Atlus? I don't know, guys. I think a lot of this stuff is very interesting. We might getting a lot of news when it comes to July 26th. We could be potentially seeing or hearing them say some things that might blow our minds, or just be kind of mediocre. But let me know what you would like to have during this special broadcast, or what questions you would have liked to have had answered from the survey. But that's going to be it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe for more content. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching.